Here we go. So today is the 26th for me, and it's the 27th for you of April. Okay, so we're away. Carol is not on these calls. I thought she was.
She's babysitting Thursdays and Fridays, so sometimes it's going to be very unlikely for her to get on because the baby will be there. That's the trouble.
I was thinking, while we're still the Australian group, do you want to do an evening so Carol can make them?
I'm fine, whichever way you want.
Well, it certainly helps Centauri. It's 11 o'clock at night for him.
Yeah, that's late. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just do this call and maybe we can reorganize, re-see what.
Yeah, rethink.
I guess for me it would depend what time because I work evenings.
Yeah.
Anyway, if
So
you
it
just
needs
give
to
me
be
your
done.
dates and times when you'll be available, and we'll just see which is the general consensus.
What time's good for you, Azaria, in the evening?
Well, it needs to be after 9.
Okay.
Anyway, I thought that maybe we might just have a look to see what this year has really brought for us so far in way of changes and the way that we see the future shaping up and how we feel about life, what seems to be different for you, and what it is that you might like to go to work on, to change if we don't think the way is moving for you as you wish. So, any ideas, any suggestions, any comments?
Did you say to see what the rest of the year is going to unfold like? Is that what you asked? Because I was not present. You said
Well, I asked a variety of things there. Actually, I was sneaky. I was saying, how do you feel that this year has shaped up for you? Is there anything that you'd like to do on these calls that would make a difference in your life? Are you happy with the way that things are going? Do you feel that life is much more gracious than it has been before? You feel more calm, settled, strong in yourself? Just to get a flavor for it.
Well, one of the signatures of this year that seems to be for a lot of people, including myself, is the incredible rate of change that things are happening. You know, that there's an incredible rate of change. So being comfortable in the fast-moving pace of change has been something that has been a signature of my year.
Oh, it's gone the exact opposite for me. There's lots of things that have come up and they're taking an awful long time to resolve themselves. I'm dealing with pension, I'm dealing with an email subscription service. You know, things just are like they're taking for age to get resolved. And I'm thinking, what's going on here?
Maybe it's a difference in hemispheres. It's all speeding up down here and slowing down up there.
Hadn't thought of that.
It does feel very fast here. Everything's traveling at a rapid rate. It seems like the year has flown already.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What is substantially different? Sorry, Nancy, you're going to say something?
I'm finding with a house full again at the moment that I'm having to, it's everybody's perspectives kind of clashing, mingling, or whatever. So we're talking about family and all that. And I'm finding yeah, like so much stuff sort of coming at me and trying to grab all the threads and create harmony, and and sometimes it's wanging me about emotionally. So I just feel like it's really I'm having to call upon more strength to pull it in, centralize it, harmonize it, all that kind of stuff. And it's not big deal stuff at all, but so I still find a lot of it's drawing on capabilities or something like that I guess it's pulling out of me, and sticking true to what the higher road in a way, and
there has
the bigger
been a lot of chaos.
Yeah, the bigger perspective, and holding true to the bigger perspective, and stuff like that. I'm finding that like that, and taking care of my own physicality. I know what to do, but I don't seem to be able to do it. So there's all that. That's not, the body's still deteriorating in many more joints now, and so. I don't know. So I don't feel in some ways it's going leaps and bounds forward at all, but other ways just sort of steady on or whatever.
I noticed, Adriana, that you nodded your head.
Well, I think getting comfortable in the chaos is one of the other signatures. To be actually and I think, and when you I think you call upon, I'm watching a series at the moment. It's about magic, and they're like the old magic and the power of the old magic, and brought into. It's actually a little bit like your Merlin story, actually, because it's about fairy tale figures who've been moved into time and forgotten who they are, but they have the power that they have, and they work, and they're in the present time, and it's sort of threaded through. A vision that I've seen, and that is that all of the old can't go into the new, but the ancient wisdom, the ancient power that's there, that is pure, can facilitate the powering up of the new as well. And so I saw that from a different level coming in, and I called upon that last night. Actually, I was working with one of my housemates here, and I called upon that, and I said, well, if it's there, if it's available, allow it to flow through. And it was a pretty significant moment when that happened, and that was helping him with the physicality. So that was interesting.
That reminds me of the Last Samurai, that movie which came out probably best more than 15 years or so back, and there was a moment in it when Tom Cruise was handed this sword, and it was forged specifically for him in the movie, almost like an Excalibur moment. And there's this Japanese script, I think it was Japanese, maybe Chinese, script along the blade itself, and one of the guys translated it for him, and it said, I belong to the warrior in whom the old ways are joined with the new. And that sort of like seems to fit with what you're saying, that there is something fundamentally true and powerful, with which if you stand with it, no matter what comes at you, you are always braving whatever it is, because the new also travels through you. You're not as if you're stuck in the old ways and patterns of doing things, but you have an opportunity to see broad horizons, which allow you to step out of the personality itself and to encounter a bigger sense of understanding how all the different things in the world are working themselves out. And so I think that's sort of like might be where you are trying to stay strong, Nancy, in this sense of yourself, but there's a bigger, broader being, if you like, who actually transcends all the human chaos. And I know it's sometimes a little bit difficult to fathom out what it is that we're really trying to get a sense of and trying to put that into words. But I think there's always this grand sense of something calling to us, which we hear it and we know it, and trying to find the way to be it continually, no matter what. And that's why I say, for me, it seems like things are grinding out exceedingly slowly. And obviously for you, they're going so much more rapidly. But in the rapidity, I think you're still finding that there's things which need to be addressed. And so that's sort of like, as you look at, same as for me, what's fundamentally needing to be done all the time, and who are you going to be in relation to that all the time. And there, I think, is where that sense of being the infinite seems to make its mark. Because if you were continually trying to think about the family and trying to harmonize and to balance things and bring people together and work the threads, it seems to me like that might be an awful trying and demanding thing to do. Luckily, I don't have that type of family situation. It would be tiring for me to try to do that thing. I think for me, if I say step back and I say, let somehow the universe work this damned mess out, and I'll be the universe, but I'll be the power of the universe. Just saying, work yourself out.
I think everybody does have to work themselves out anyway in a family, but the chaos goes on. And it's being able to remove yourself emotionally from it that is the biggest task, and that's very hard when they're your offspring.
There's also something else that's surfaced in my memory. When we were at Glastonbury, Nancy and I were at Glastonbury, and we had it was at Buckland Hall, actually. We went with that time we were at Buckland Hall. And Jane came to visit us at the table. And I can't remember all of the conversation, but the one thing that I do remember in that was that she said to us, you know, you can get to a place where you can command the dawn. And it stuck with me, because I thought, at the time, I thought, oh my God, you know, who would you have to be to command the dawn? And it was too overwhelming to think about it. But now I'm thinking, who would you have to be to command the dawn, you know? And you probably would have to be an infinite being to command the dawn. And would you really want to command the dawn? But what kind of being would you be if you could? So yeah, that's kind of also been playing on my mind.
But what does that really mean for you to be able to command the dawn?
Well, that's exactly right. You know, what does it mean? You wouldn't. I'm guessing you'd be aligned with all of the elements in the universes to be able to do that. You'd have to be completely aligned with the totality of everything, in full conscious flow and alignment with everything.
So, shall we do that? I mean, I think it also requires you to think in that way as well. That not only is it possible, but it's doable, and that maybe if you put yourself into a position of thinking something radically amazing will happen if you allow yourself to be there and to be available for whatever. So let's see what will happen. Let's just say that we are infinite beings who have infinite awareness and purpose, and we just see what is the calling, what is it that we would do together, because we know that something needs to happen, and something will happen when we join together in those ways. So what happened for you, Andriana?
I felt odd commanding the sun, so I became the sun instead, and it was not so much a command but a collaboration. So it was a unified space that we were in, doing it together, so to speak.
And what would you do? What did you do together?
Oh, we traveled through the universes. We went on a joyride.
Nancy, what was your report?
Like I felt that commanding the dawn was, I love the saying and all this stuff, but when you just know that there's the planet circling and that brings the dawn, yeah, I kind of understood it's there's nothing to command, it's always coming yet, right? And so then I thought, right, so if you don't command the dawn, because it's happening all the time anyway, there's nothing to command. But what it was pointing to, And so I just, I don't know, just the workings of the whole universe. You just saw how everything is just actually working and how it's all working. And so I just relaxed into, which was a bit what I was trying to keep the bigger picture in home harmonics. It was almost like expanding into universal home harmonics. So being one with what's already happening at all times. And something did relax in me. And then you realize the workings of the body are the same as the workings of the universe. And you just relaxed into that and into the trust of that and into the, and if there's anything I needed to command at any stage, you saw that you could, because you were just one with the workings of all things anyway. So yeah, so I don't know, but it brought me to a very nice place inside. So thanks for that, Andriana, because it's almost the place that, yeah, I was pointing to before of what's happening. Yeah.
So easier to work universal harmonics.
Yeah, much easier because it's already going on. It's just, I'm not doing it. I'm not having to do anything but be a conscious part of it that becomes then unconscious because, nothing, there's nothing to do.
And Joe, what about for you?
Well, the metaphor, to command the dawn is a metaphor for being able to change anything, being able to having the ability, well, to be able to change anything. And what I saw with that, because I saw it as I took it to the earth because it was dawn, and what I saw was as a collective moved our energies through and around the earth, clarifying, and yeah, it was like water was spreading all over the earth, and that was becoming really pristine, clear. And then I thought, but we have no control like that. It doesn't feel right to actually put your will against everybody's. The whole picture. It's got to be. I don't know. It messed up in the end because I thought, I don't want to control. I don't want to have power over. It's like the process is happening, and it has to be a unanimous, universal happening. And if we can't maintain, like we're doing that on a level anyway, we're spreading as much light as we can onto the earth, and I just feel that that's all we can do. And it's, as you both said, Nancy and Andriana, it's about harmonizing.
It reminds me of a book that Barbara Marciniak brought out 20 years or so back. It was called The Bringers of the Dawn.
Palladium.
Yes, don't know if you remember that. And I thought at the time, I want to be one of those people who are bringing the dawn. And I had a fair good understanding of what that meant. It was like being an ambassador for being a way-shower for something incredible that needed to happen. And I think that I've done that fairly successfully. But then I thought about what is it that the world might need right now. If I chose to put my focus to that, what might it be? And I thought about what people have all said about love, peace, light, bring the light. And I thought that's what people think needs to happen. And there's certainly been a lot of light that's been flooding this plane of existence for quite a few years now. So I looked almost like it shows you in The Lord of the Rings, where Frodo is taken to this basin of water by Galadriel and asked to look in it and to see what he might see. And I looked into this basin of water, and I found that down in the bottom of the basin there was this silver object, which I took to be a silver object. So I put my hand in and I brought it up, and it was just like a stone. Maybe it was actually a couple of silver stones. And then I saw like my hand passed it over to a female pair of hands who took it. And I wondered, what might that be put to use? And then I imagined that I was in the female pair of hands and looking at the gift that was being given over, and almost like saw that it was made into strands of silver. And immediately I thought, going into the consciousness, something goes into the consciousness. And what might that be that goes into the consciousness by this act? And I didn't want to put a definition upon it, but my sense is that if you see something like that happen, it is a real thing. So I make a distinction between something that's imaginary and something that I take to be quite true and real in its effect. The effect that I saw something occur by putting a hand in water, bringing something up and giving it over, quite without the conscious movement. And I think there again is a distinction between a command that something is going now to be done, and an observance, which you almost like realize that there is something put into effect because you have taken action and seen it so. So I always think that there's something very worthy from these things that we do together. We're not just talking about things. Something occurs because we come together and explore what might need to take effect. And I think that whatever that might be that goes into the consciousness, let's say, it works itself out for the best effect for everybody. Because I don't think that it's just for one person or a group of people. I think that whatever is done for all of life, for every life form that's ever been created or given sentiency. That everything, as you say, works together in unison. And once you sort of like have that as your main reference point, that it's for everything and everyone, then everything just settles quite easily and gracefully. And that, I think, is probably if any of the command needs to be given, is the commands to yourself that that's going to be so. So, where's that space? So, is there anything that you'd like to comment on or want to have a look at before we part company at the end of this hour?
Not for me. I can't think of anything.
There are a number of things, but they take too long.
Just give us one then. Let the one stand for the all.
No, it's okay. Maybe on the next call.
Oh, you're going to save it? All right. Jill, anything for you?
Not at the moment.
It seemed to me very satisfactory. It felt like something was done,
Mm,
like a piece of work was done.
definitely. Yeah,
Actually,
that's
on
the
this
feeling we-
call, what I feel has occurred is that marrying of the what's of the ancient thread, the essence of that pure thread, being in the new space and how that works together and how that grows together and becomes something. That's what it feels like has happened.
Are you putting any of this stuff down in writing?
No, I haven't. No,
I think it might be a nice thing to try out.
Yeah, it's that's one of the things that is still not materialized on paper yet.
Jill did a great writing yesterday.
Yes, you did. That's right, Jill.
You did a what?
Yeah.
Writing.
Right.
Oh, where did you post it? Mind you, I haven't looked on Facebook yet.
I posted it on Facebook underneath Celera's, she did a video. Maybe you don't.
She does lots of videos.
Yeah, this was a little video yesterday, I think. And I just posted it as a comment underneath.
Oh, okay.
Oh, not many people are going to see it there, Jill. I didn't see it. Yeah. Anyway, I'll look for it now that I know where it is. Yeah. Has to be your own separate thing that you put in that one of
I don't
those.
know how you do that.
And I don't either, Jill. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know how to do a note, don't you? I mean, you can put pictures into a note and it can be a long piece of text then.
Yeah, I do notes. I usually do things into notes first, but
Because this is a Facebook note.
oh no, I don't know.
Okay, then maybe sometime we'll explore how to do that.
That would be good.
Mm.
Okay, then. I would always tell you that the book Merlin the Return is almost finished. It's been almost finished now for about a week. I keep adding to it, so it doesn't, like the Horizon, it seems to stretch it a little bit more and a little bit more. But when I do have it finished, I'll send you out a copy. All of you.
Fantastic. Lovely. Beautiful.
You're welcome. Okay, let's stop the recording there, and